Imagine a world where the lights go out, not because of a storm or a power failure, but from a precise, calculated strike. Ukraine's latest drone blitz isn't just about explosions in the night sky. It's about targeting Russia's lifeblood, its vast energy network. Every drone that takes off isn't just a weapon, it's a message. We can reach you where it hurts most. But how did this shadow war of machines in the sky become one of the most strategic fronts of the entire conflict? So, what exactly is happening in this drone war? In recent months, Ukraine has unleashed a wave of long-range drones that can travel hundreds of miles deep into Russian territory. Their targets? Not tanks or bases, but oil refineries, fuel depots, and energy plants. Videos posted online show massive fireballs lighting up the night as refineries burn, pipelines rupture, and storage tanks explode. These aren't random hits. They're coordinated strikes designed to choke the flow of energy that keeps Russia's economy and its war machine alive. The strikes have reached cities once thought untouchable, some near Moscow itself. Russia, caught off guard at first, has scrambled to defend its skies. Anti-air systems, radar jammers, and electronic warfare units are working overtime. Yet, despite their defenses, the drones keep coming. It's a high-stakes cat-and-mouse game, one that's changing how wars are fought and defended. But why energy? Why go after oil refineries instead of troops or tanks? To understand that, you need to look at what fuels Russia's power. Literally, oil and gas aren't just parts of its economy, they are the economy. They're the blood running through every vein of Russia's political and military machine. Every drop of crude oil pumped from Siberian fields, every cubic meter of gas shipped to Europe, translates directly into rubles. Rubles that pay for soldiers' salaries, build missiles, and fund the machinery of war. When Ukrainian drones strike refineries, storage depots, or pipelines, they're not just blowing up steel and concrete, they're cutting into Russia's life support. Each refinery lost means less fuel to move tanks, fewer supplies reaching the front, and smaller profits to feed the Kremlin's budget. It's a silent kind of warfare, one that starves instead of shatters. Think of it like attacking the fuel line of a giant engine. As long as the oil keeps flowing, the engine runs. Powerful, unstoppable. But block the flow, and even the biggest machine grinds to a halt. That's exactly what Ukraine is aiming for. Not to destroy everything outright, but to make the war machine sputter, slow, and eventually stall. And here's the genius behind it. Oil refineries aren't just energy plants, they're economic dominoes. Shut one down, and the effects ripple outward. Gasoline production drops, transportation slows, export revenues shrink, and suddenly, the entire system starts wobbling. Each drone strike might seem small on its own, a single explosion, a single fire. But add them up, and they start to look like the pressure points of an economy being quietly squeezed. Russia's treasury, already strained by the costs of war and international sanctions, feels the squeeze hardest. Billions once earned from energy exports are now rerouted to rebuild damaged facilities, strengthen defenses, or simply keep production afloat. That means fewer funds for weapons development, less money for soldiers' bonuses, and rising frustration among regional governors and oligarchs who depend on oil wealth to maintain loyalty. But beyond the numbers and budgets, these strikes send a deeper, more psychological message. For decades, Russia projected an image of invulnerability, a vast nation shielded by distance and might. Now, that illusion is cracking. When explosions light up the skies over Belgorod, Ryazan, or even near Moscow, ordinary Russians are forced to confront a new reality. The war isn't far away anymore, it's right above their heads. That's a powerful shift, one that eats away at public confidence and challenges the government's promise of security. Suddenly, no place feels safe. And when people stop feeling safe, they start asking questions. For Moscow, this creates a dangerous dilemma. Do they pull resources from the front lines to defend oil facilities deep inside the country? Do they pour billions into new radar systems and anti-drone networks? Either way, Ukraine wins strategically, because every ruble spent on defense at home is one less ruble spent on the war abroad. And here's the most surprising part. These drones bringing Russia's energy empire under fire aren't always advanced, military-grade machines built in secret factories. Some are built in basements, garages, or small workshops. They're part of a new breed of warfare, fast, flexible, and fiercely inventive. So how exactly is Ukraine pulling this off, turning commercial tech and creativity into one of the most disruptive weapons of the war? The answer lies in creativity and necessity. Ukraine has become a laboratory of innovation under fire. With limited access to expensive Western weapons, engineers and volunteers have turned commercial drones, the kind you can buy online, into deadly precision tools. They've modified them for longer range, added homemade explosives, and equipped them with advanced navigation systems. Wait a second. If you are new to this channel and you like what you see and hear, please subscribe, like, and join the conversation below. If you're not convinced yet, subscribe and tell us how we can earn that click. We're all about getting better together. Let's move on. Over time, Ukraine's homegrown drone industry has evolved at lightning speed. Some drones can now fly over 1,000 kilometers, guided by GPS and artificial intelligence. They're cheaper to build, harder to track, and easier to replace, making them the perfect tool for asymmetric warfare. It's David versus Goliath, but this time, David has a swarm of drones. And while these strikes are causing chaos inside Russia, they're also sending ripples far beyond the battlefield. So what happens when the world's largest energy exporter suddenly becomes unstable? That's where things get even more complicated. Every hit on a Russian refinery shakes global oil markets. Prices wobble, traders panic, and nations dependent on Russian oil start to worry about supply shocks. A single refinery fire can push fuel prices up worldwide. Internationally, opinions are split. Many Western allies quietly applaud Ukraine's strategy, seeing it as a smart, non-nuclear way to weaken Russia. But others worry it could spark a dangerous escalation, pushing Russia toward more desperate measures. Meanwhile, Moscow threatens retaliation, not just on the battlefield, but in cyberspace, and possibly against critical infrastructure in Europe. It's a dangerous balance, where each drone strike could bring the world one step closer to a wider confrontation. So the big question now is, can Ukraine keep this drone campaign going? And what might it mean for the future of the war? The war in the skies is evolving fast. Ukraine's drone campaign has proven that technology can level the playing field against a much larger opponent. But sustaining it will be tough. Each new strike demands resources, intelligence, and constant innovation to stay ahead of Russian defenses. Still, these attacks are changing the shape of modern conflict. Energy grids, data centers, even satellite systems, all are now targets in this new kind of warfare. As both sides adapt, 2026 could see a battlefield where human soldiers matter less than the drones that fight above them. The drone blitz may have started as Ukraine's response to invasion, but it's quickly becoming a glimpse into the future of global warfare. But let's look closer. What's really at stake here? Ukraine's drone campaign isn't just a clever tactic. It's rewriting the rulebook of 21st century warfare. For decades, power in war was measured by how many tanks you had, how many jets you could launch, or how many soldiers you could send to the front. But now, a small team with a laptop, a signal booster, and a handful of drones can cripple billion-dollar infrastructure hundreds of miles away. That changes everything. The implications are enormous. Ukraine has shown that even under siege, innovation can outpace brute force. Every drone strike is a signal, not just to Russia, but to every nation watching, that technology, creativity, and strategy can compete with sheer size. It's a story of adaptation under pressure, of survival turned into science. But with every success comes a shadow. These strikes also push the conflict into new, unpredictable territory. Russia isn't standing still. Reports suggest they're investing heavily in anti-drone lasers, radar systems, and even their own long-range drones designed to strike deep into Ukraine or beyond. It's an arms race in the sky, one that moves faster than diplomacy can keep up with. And that raises a question no one wants to answer out loud. What happens when drones stop being just tools of defense or precision strikes and start targeting critical infrastructure outside the battlefield? Power grids, communication hubs, even cities? For now, Ukraine's focus remains strategic, targeting oil, not civilians, but the technology they've pioneered and the tactics they've refined could spread. Other nations, or even non-state actors, are taking notes. The barrier to entry for this kind of warfare is low, and the potential for chaos is high. It's not just a war between two nations anymore. It's a live demonstration of how modern societies might fight and fall in the years ahead. Meanwhile, the ripple effects continue to spread. As global markets watch every refinery fire in Russia, investors and policymakers scramble to predict the next shock. Energy prices twitch with each new explosion. Insurance rates for oil tankers and refineries rise. And in capitals around the world, leaders are quietly asking, if drones can do this to Russia, what's stopping someone from doing it to us? The psychological impact inside Russia is growing too. For years, ordinary Russians felt distant from the front lines. The war was something they watched on television, not something that burned outside their towns. But now, As black smoke curls over their skies and fuel shortages start to bite, the illusion of safety fades. The war is coming home, not through soldiers, but through silence and sudden strikes from above. And for Ukraine, this drone campaign has become something more than a military tool. It's a symbol, a sign of resilience, a reminder to both friend and foe that they will not only survive, but innovate, adapt, and hit back in ways no one expected. Still, there's a fragile balance. The longer the drone war escalates, the more the world edges toward a dangerous threshold, one where automation, AI, and remote warfare could make conflicts faster, deadlier, and harder to control. Drones don't get tired. They don't question orders. And in the wrong hands, they don't distinguish between targets and tragedy. The sky above Eastern Europe has become a testing ground for the future, a place where war, technology, and politics collide. The outcome won't just shape the fate of Ukraine or Russia, but how the world thinks about security, energy, and even peace itself. Because in this new era of warfare, the battlefield is everywhere, and the most powerful weapon might not be the one that explodes, but the one that evolves. Thanks for making it this far. It means you like what we do here at Eurobulletin. We will appreciate if you took 5 seconds to like, subscribe, and leave a comment on your views regarding the topic. See you tomorrow for another video.